The other day I started a series where I'm going through every single club in Premier League, Championship, picking my best player. This is part 2 of that, so it's the top 8 for Premier League. So if you haven't already, go watch part 1, might make more sense to you, this video, how I'm picking players, what my criteria is. So let's just start off. First up, Newcastle. I've gone out my way for this little segment, so you're welcome. For the Geordies, I've gone with the best Bruno there is in the Premier League, Bruno G. One of the first signings we had of the new fucking Saudi era. Cost him about 40 million, but he was worth every single penny from Lyon. One of them players you can put him anywhere in midfield and he's going to be top class. I prefer him as a 6 because I think he's really good at playing them long balls, getting himself out of tricky situations. He's not scared to run at people, and I think he does really good there. But then when he's played as an 8 or further forward, I can think of, times where he's been a difference maker. I think it was Forest game. I think we're at Forest. He were playing really high up. And he scored 2 goals. He was creating everything, running through players. He was so creative. He's got quite a lot of flair. He's just a really, really good player to watch no matter where he gets deployed. Because of how complete he is, I don't think there's any teams in the Premier League who won't get him, at least off of the bench. What I'm loving about him now, I don't know where it's come from, but he's just become this big Brazilian shit ass, elbows, headbutting, kicking people. He's a fucking prick, but you've got to love him. He's one of them. He's playing against you want to fucking kill him, but when he's playing for you just love him, don't you? Barno talks back on you, Reds. So next up, I've got Wolves. For them, I've picked Matheus Cunha. There were a lot of people talk about him last year, but I never really did see the hype when he was on loan from Atletico. But this season looks like a whole new player. I think we are still yet to see where his best position is. He can play as a 10, he can play out wide, he can play as a 9. He can just play anywhere across that front line. He's just so creative. He can get into them little pockets. Anything you want him to do, he could probably do it. He's so skillful, he's smooth, he's got a lot of flair. He's just really, really nice to watch. When they're getting at teams and they're attacking them and they're not playing against anyone who's going to sit back, he just looks unbelievable. But wherever O'Neill, plays him, he is just unbelievable. He's capable anyway, and he's always going to be one of the better players. Really, really good sign on the permanent. But Wolves were one I really struggled with. There were some really, really big standout ones. So if you think different, let me know. Next up is Brighton. Again, quite a few options, but I just had to give it to Mr. Brighton himself, Lewis Dunk. He's been there 20 years. He's been playing professional for him for 15 seasons. He just lives and breathes the Seagulls. He's been there with him since they're in the 3rd tier, and just every time he's stepped up a league, stepped up a level. They're all in to fucking Europe now, and he just still looks capable. He's, a really good leader for that team. Never looks out of place. So solid defensively. He knows where to be. His experience with it. He's always in the right place. He's really, really good in the air. I can't think how many times I've seen him lose an header. He really does organise that defence, and ever since, we've had, more flowing, what is that word, football, where he's on the ball a lot more, having to pass under De Zerbi and under Potter. He looks like a whole new player, and it just shows how much of a good professional he is. He can adapt up leagues, and now he's adapting his full play style. Lewis Dunk is a ball-playing defender in Europe. That doesn't sound right to me. Definition of a modern club legend. Next up is West Ham, up there at Hammers. So a couple of options, but stand out, Jarrod Bowen. Jarrod Bowen's on fire, and he's shagging Danny Dyer. I think he was starting to, fall off a cliff. I took him out of my fantasy. He has been absolutely carrying my fantasy all year. I took him out when he goes and scores an hat-trick because he won't score in a few weeks before. He's on 14 goals so far in the league this season. He's just so, don't matter where you play him, he's looking alright. Traditionally, he's off the wing. It was like that at all, cutting in on his left. Got a really nice shot on his left. He's a really, really dangerous player to give space in the box. But now I've seen him play, as a number 9, which I'm still not the biggest fan, but I think his overall play as a 9 isn't as good as he's on wing, obviously, but as long as he's getting the goals, that's all that really matters. And under Moyes, they are complaining about the style of football, and I think he kind of describes that. He's getting the results with the goals and everything, but he shouldn't be playing there, should he? And, we've seen he's had this quality before this year. He's stepped up another level, but I think ever since that Europe run we did where they won the cup, he's just been unbelievable. He is a really, really good player. Next up is Man United. This player is so underrated. People hate him. He's in that category of players where they're either divers, cheaters, dirty, or all three like he is. So they get underrated for how good at football they are, but he is a good footballer. It's Bruno F. He has started to become massively underrated because he had that first season, I think it was near lockdown, where we got all the penalties. He had like 20 goals, mad assists. He had such a good output numbers. But nowadays, like last few seasons, his numbers have dropped massively. But I think he's a better player. He's so much more involved. He does all the dirty work, gets in little spaces deep, dictates play from deep. He looks like doing a whole new job, but he still looks brilliant. Like before, he was playing as a 10, had a lot of freedom, didn't have to track back, was so creative. We've had a really, good ability to pick out a pass, find the finish. But now we've seen him deep, and he's just can dictate that Man United side. We even see him play out wide. Don't matter where you play him, it looks good, and he's a good captain to have. But he's a bit of a prick. United are really good at overspending on players who turn out shit. But for £70 million, I think he's been well worth the value. Next up for Spuds, again, another club captain, Heung-min Son. He's been there for so long, and he's just every single season bagging goals. No matter how bad of a season he has, he's always popping up with him. One of the best finishers I've ever seen. Right foot, left foot, header, outside the box, inside the box, tapping. He's always there. He's just so prolific in front of goal. And what also helps is electrifying pace on the counter-attack. You know, we've seen with Andries, high line, counter-attacking football, where he can just run. And I think last few seasons he has dropped off. We've seen that, but he's just fucking electrocuted himself back into life under Ange, because he can just run and be creative. He can play up top, play out wide under that system, and he just looks like the perfect Ange player. He's bagged 13 goals under Ange this year, and he's just one of my favourite players. I think the manager and player combo couldn't be any more perfect. But we've always seen how quality it is in the Premier League. He's been here since 2015. Doing my maths, that's 8 years now, 9 years. Fucking hell, I'm getting old. But, you know, he's played out wide as a striker. He even used to play as a 10 under Mourinho. Remember them days? They were funny. Next up is Villa. They've been one of the most overperforming teams. They've been brilliant. So many players just stepping up about their standards. So it made it quite hard to pick. But I've gone with Dougie Luiz. The reason I've picked him over all the other, overperforming players having seasons of their life is because he's added so much to his game. His passing range, he's picking them from anywhere, finding people at feet, getting them in behind. Just so much more. Anytime he's on ball, you're thinking they're going to be straight through here. But he's always been just a really solid defensive midfielder to have. So it's like a whole different part of his game. He's just improved by 100 times. And he's just so complete now, because he's still not dropped his defensive work rate. And he's chipped him quite a few goals. I can remember quite a few. I remember that one he did against United where he fucking checked his tits about. That was a good one. But yeah, under his Unai Emery system, he has been unbelievable. And he looks even more standout compared to all the other brilliant players we've had this year. Next up for Man City is one of my all-time favourite players, past or present, is Villa. He's 32 now. Kevin De Bruyne, just fucking the Belgian magician. There isn't and there hasn't ever been a better player in midfield in the Premier League other than him. He's just, I don't think there's another player I can think of in history who's got his passing range. Either foot, can bend a pass, he can find a pass out of nowhere. I just don't get how he does it. We're all watching the screen, watching it, and he'll just pick out some random fucking bloke on a run. No one's even seeing him on the screen, and then in 1 second he's through on goal. He whips his ball so much, can do it outside of foot, any foot. I just don't get how he does it. No one can. He's just so confusing. He is, most known for his assists and his passing range, but he's bagged so many goals and so many types of goals too. He is really good with both feet. I can just remember so many screamers he scored. Set pieces. He has that little dipping technique. I really like. He scored, one of my favourite goals I've ever seen in person. I was at St James's Park when we were playing Man City. He fucking chests it down, volley, crossbarring in. It was a beautiful goal. I remember watching that whole game. I was thinking he is the best player I've ever seen with my eyes in real life. But as a defending player, you see him anywhere in your third, you are fucking shitting yourself. Just any more than 5 seconds, he's going to find a perfect pass, or he's going to hit one at your goalie. That's probably going to go in. He can just do it all. He's a perfect final third player. And because he's just got both sides to that, passing and scoring, he's not the best defensively, but he's still really good. I don't think we ever will see a midfielder who can do the passing range and the fucking chipping in with goals like him. I will be really surprised if we see a better player than him in the Premier League in the next 10-20 years. My voice is really starting to go now, so we're in the top two. On to Liverpool. I've gone with Mo Salah. Even this season, I think he's starting to lose his pace, his energy, his work rate, even though he's a high-pressing team. But he's still, what most people are saying is a bad season for him. He's got the most goals and assists in the league, and his numbers are really carrying Liverpool. I don't get how they are second. We wouldn't be without him. No, we've always used him just bombing down, when pressing, winning the ball line, getting goals off other people's mistakes, and just constantly being at players. But he's took that massive part out of his game this year. But he still managed to bag 24 goals and assists in 20 games. I don't get how, when he's just lost that massive part of the game. But that just shows he isn't just a system player like what a lot of people say. He is a top quality player. I do think Musobi last year, I put any money he's going to go to Saudi in the summer for a lot of money, and he's just going to retire along with Klopp. I mean, Liverpool are going to be in the fucking mud. But you know, he is a club legend. He is so underrated. A lot of people, there's this thing which I fucking hate, where because a winger gets lots of goals and assists, they get slandered for it. He's just so underrated. There's people fucking comparing him to Nani. I've seen, that's just fucking stupid. He is one of the best wingers I've ever seen in the Premier League, and also one of the best players. Last but not least, Arsenal, top of the league, not for long anyway. But there's so many different ways you can go from. I think they have, arguably, in most positions, they have one of the best players in the league. And it was just really hard to pick. But I've gone with Odegaard up purely because of the feel-good factor. He makes football such a joy to watch. Me and a lot of other people thought, when he went to Real Madrid, I think about 2014, he was only 16. He got 100 grand a year, and it was, you know, well known. Everyone thought it was going to be the next big thing. But after he got that paycheck, he was fucking his career up. He was playing really shit and starting to bottle it. But he's had a massive, massive turnaround. He had the stint at Sociedad where, you know, as soon as he got given the freedom there, he's just excelled, and he's the player we all thought he could be. And ever since he's been in the Premier League, he's just stepped it up, and he's just one of the best midfielders in the world. The perfect word to describe him would be a magician. He's just so smooth. Nathan, if you can be arsed editing it, I remember just this tackle he did where he fucking slides and he fucking reboners it and he gets up and he plays perfect pass. He's just so fucking smooth and sexy on the ball. He can just dance and wave and fucking swoop his way through a midfield. He's the most smoothest player in the league, I think. He's just an absolute fucking magician. I think he is, going forward, Arsenal's most important player. I know you've got Saka and Matt bagging goals and all them other players, but I think he's the main one in that team who, I think Arsenal, they struggle when a team just sits back and they can't break them down. If there's anyone to pick apart a defence with 11 men behind ball, everyone in box, it's him. He can just take one man on, find that little gap and play an inch perfect pass, do it so silky and smoothly, and then that's what you need. If you are wanting to win a league like we're trying to do now, you are going to play teams that's going to anti-football, terrorist football you. He's just so good at counteracting that. But he's a top quality player. There's a reason he's captain there. And he's just an unbelievable and one of my favourite players to watch at the minute in the Premier League. So that's part 2 of the series, and that's the Premier League done. My voice is going. I was really struggling towards the end, so you best fucking appreciate this, lads. Next up in the series will be the Championship. I'm hoping I'm going to get someone on, so it's not just me rambling at you with my annoying voice that's going. I'm going to, you know, try to get someone else to give a different opinion, give a bit of a debate about it. Until then, you know, just leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this, and I really appreciate you all watching it. I hope you have a good day. See ya.